So, as of like 3 days ago, the fifth chapter came out. Or not came out, but got like announced on Nintendo Direct. After like Kingdom Hearts, which is kind of nuts. Um, but see, this is where the problem comes from, right? Because I had a few videos I wanted to make, and I never got around to doing a few predictions and all that. I don't really have time for that right now. I have less than 2 weeks to get a video out, so I can ride that Deltarune like hype train and make so much money. But I don't have the time for that, like at all. So I'm doing a sequel. Welcome to the every possible chapter 5 secret boss that could possibly happen from these characters I have down here, because literally anyone else is like so out there they aren't worth mentioning. This is basically just chapter 5 the boss explained in the title. Read the title, go back 5 seconds to get the title. But I'll be going through all these like last time, explaining my reasoning. Hopefully not get abysmally wrong last time. And let's see what happens in 2 weeks. I'll probably be wrong, but maybe I won't. Maybe this will be like the thing that like jinxes me, and then it'll be like true, and then I'll jinx it again, and it will be false. With that being said, we're gonna get some elephants out of this room. All right. Friend, or Mike, or whomever, right? Will it be him or them? Now look, I'm not gonna say it's impossible, because it's definitely not. The thing is with Friend, when it comes to Friend, is that we don't really know much other than, Planet Hell, Take Brawl, all that blah 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 stuff from chapter 3. We know they're real. We know they're secret boss adjacent. And we know that they probably did the Mike thing, the probably Mike. Which gives a whole other subset of things, right? The big issue with this is that, at least to me, Friend only has 2 options of being a boss, and it's that they're a final boss for a chapter or they're a secret boss. But I don't know if they would be a secret boss for chapter 5. I think I could see them making an appearance, making their introduction. I could see them making their introduction. Like, hi, it's me, I'm Friend, this is what I sound like. And I'm going to give you a shadow crystal. Like, I think it's more likely they lead someone into being a secret boss, or being a hyper boss, or a super boss, or a freedom boss, or whatever they're called, rather than they themselves being the boss. I think they're more of like an omnipresent thing, and so that means when you actually fight them, it's like you have no shot. You have absolutely no shot. Not a chance. And if memory serves me right, which it might not, this one, at least the one coming up that like Sean talked about, is easier. I just realized he's not on this list. Whoops. Is like, this is gonna be easier. Easier than the other ones. If that's debatably true, if I'm even remembering that right, I'm not even gonna include it. But I just want to bring that up. That we're on the final one, right? With that being said, I think there's a good chance, very good chance, and for that, they will be going in very likely to happen. Also, this is why this is different. This is why it's Angel's Heaven, very likely to happen, likely, all that stuff. Because I'm realizing my last one I did, it was not super good. None of these all these characters past possible are possible in my eyes. They're just higher in rating if they're possible or not, and the vice versa, the bottom, they're lower chance now. And you know, all that stuff, tier list stuff. Tier list, iceberg, lost medias. With that being said, on to elephant number 2. The Night, the Roaring Night. I don't think so. I really don't think so. And this is a good reason for this. And they'll be relevant later. I don't think we're going to have duplicates. I don't think Toby Fox is going to retread the same ground. And this will be important later, when we get to some characters in this list. But I think Toby Fox isn't like retreading ground that's already been done, at least in the same context. Like, he's fine with this character appearing and like reappearing again. Like, we fought the Knights twice, basically. We fought the Knight twice. But the Knight fight was different. We didn't fight them head on in Chapter 4. We tried getting to fight them, and then we said we fought the Guardian. Or the Titan, I mean. Guardian's name of the song. But because of that, we're probably gonna have a Knight. There is a very likely chance we're gonna fight them in Chapter 5 again. And now that we have the hammer, it's gonna be a way higher chance of actually beating them. However, just because of that, it doesn't mean we aren't going to like fight them in a secret boss sense. They dropped the Shadow Crystal in Chapter 3. There's a very high chance I was supposed to go to like Ram or like someone cooler than them. But like, they got there late. They were late and they missed the bus, and then everyone made fun of them for being a fraud. Which they aren't, by the way. They definitely would kill Gerson. Sorry. I love Gerson, but they would just probably do their stupid swoon thing to like cheat their way out of it because they're boring. But anyway. I don't think that's gonna be a secret boss. I think they're gonna drop another Shadow Crystal. I think it's already done and dusted. I don't think we're going to do that. But with that being said, unlikely to happen. We already got 2 polarizing picks. At recap, Knight likely, but like not likely in that sense. Like, we're gonna fight them, but not in that way. This is character. The next up and coming character is one that probably 90% of the people watching this video will not know who it is. Quick introduction. This is Apple Girlington. This is a Toby Fox Tumblr character made for Tohu, or however you say it, back in like, I think 2012? There's someone on Twitter who's like adamant they're going to appear, and I put them here just for them. Just so they can be here. And if I'm being honest, even though I don't personally see it, they can happen. They can be the secret boss. I've seen a few people come up with ideas for how they work. I've seen them be straight up apple-based or flower-based and all that stuff. But knowing that, like, you know, the Dark World is, you know, the way it is, it's, you know, I gotta describe it with this. It's gonna be anime-themed because Kris doesn't like anime. I'm sorry. And, like, all that stuff. I don't even know how to term for this. But, like, it's going to be themed around that. There's a high chance they do appear. Because Toby Fox loves recalling things he posted on Tumblr years ago. Because Deltarune is one of those. But I don't think they are going to be... I'm going to move this down because this is going to be like a last thing. I don't think they're going to be a secret boss, personally. However, if they did appear as a secret boss, I would not be against it. I wouldn't be against it. I would be content with it. Very content with it. And that's all I have to say, because I don't really know the rest. But, you know, per se, there's too many apples. That's some evidence, I guess. Alright, elephant number 2. Or number 3. Whatever one I'm on. Jevil. Jevil, Jester Knight's Jevil. So, this clown, this jester. they have like one piece of evidence that is supporting they might be a secret boss again or like reappear, and like that's it. What is this evidence? I think Sham said in like chapter 1 that was like maybe we should like deal with them now rather than later, because they might like be stronger. You might want to attack them when they're weak, or it might become a problem down the line. But you know, foreshadowing maybe, but I think Jevil has a good shot. I don't think Friend levels of good shot. However, if Jevil did appear, I would probably scream. I would start screaming and crying, but I could totally see Jevil instead of being like a... Because, you know, we're probably going to get like a boss rush or something. That's like a big theory going around, boss rush. But, you know, technically Undertale did that. So, like, it's definitely going to redo that. And it's going to be way worse. I think Jevil, I could totally see Jevil being like, if you didn't defeat him, he's not in the boss rush, and instead it's like some gross mutated thing, like that's in like the whole like roaring, like prophecy thing in chapter 3. I could see that being like what Jevil turns into, like freedom exposed, and maybe even for the other secret bosses. I'm not even gonna roll out like Spamton could turn into some freak of nature more than he already is, or like hell, maybe Ram could reappear too. He's also not on this list. I forgot a lot of characters. I'm sorry. I'll add them in post. I'll like edit them over where they would go. Anywho, Jevil, good shot, pretty good shot, I'd say. I'm not gonna say the highest shot, but you know, good shot, a big shot, if you would. Big shot for number Phantasm. Homestuck, Deltarune, Undertale. Okay. There's... Now I know... Now I know I was wrong last time. But trust me on this one when I tell you it's not gonna happen. There's only one way Papyrus gets into this chapter as like a boss, and it's not in a way that I think even lends itself well to like a plot device, because it implies another element has to be happening. Papyrus secret boss. Very unlikely. Very unlikely. Papyrus Knight, I had reasoning for like how it could. I don't know if I fully went in depth for it. Like, even linked the video that like I got my theory from. But to like recap that, because I don't think I did, I assumed that like Papyrus being this like mystical, like you're not gonna be able to see him character, and you know the whole everyone playing a role that they did similar to Undertale would lead logically to Papyrus would have to be some kind of royal role. Right, he wants to be a royal guard in Undertale. What would be his role in Deltarune? Oh, he'll be a royal knight. Like some kind of roaring knight, if you will. And I won't lie, when the knight did the skeleton thing, I was like, oh, maybe it actually could be him still. Maybe there's a little bit of him still in there. Maybe he can still be the roaring knight, right? And you can also say all the like Sans, Papyrus stuff, Undertale, Deltarune. Like, I was in the assumption that, like, him failing at being the knight would send him to, like, purgatory as in Undertale. Gaster gets pissed off and kills him. But it looks like we might meet him in Chapter 5. But it's gonna definitely be, like, a reward thing for probably doing some stupid thing. Or alternatively, worst option possible, he's like the Forgotten Man, and then I will cry, because I don't have all the eggs, and I won't be able to see my sweet boy. But, yeah, no, it's not him. It's not going to be Papyrus. I doubt Papyrus will even enter a Dark World. We might get something when the Roaring happens, because I'm assuming we're probably going to see Dark World forms like all cast. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Ooh, my favorite elephant in the room. Friend inside me. Good old Sheriff Blue Bubble, my boy, my sweet boy. this character, I can't even go into full like in depth on like the chances this guy has, like, and why people want him in chapter 3 so bad. So I'm just gonna go into chapter 5 reasons, right? Reason 1. There's a shit ton of cut content from chapter 3, and in that is a ton of cowboy stuff. We're talking like full set, like there's like obviously the cowboy section got cut down heavily, but also several quiz questions that were just outright cut that relate to Asgore's favorite show being a cowboy show. And I think even directly like a puppet cowboy show or something along those lines, right? Then you have Jongler, or whatever his name, the Zapper from the Mike fight, who's cowboy themed. You want to know what the other two are themed to look similar to? Two characters that are in the game. You have Flowey, which looks very similar to Friend, and then you have Mike, who looks very similar to Tenna. You know, that's very suspect. Why is there a cowboy there? Where did he get the cowboy hat? Why is he a cowboy in the first place? Because there's nothing implying that Mike would be a cowboy, right? And you can say, oh, well, it's just because people think that it's to reference the community, and the real Mike is the microphone. You're fucking wrong, because Mike was mentioned by Spamton, and it said that after Spamton left, Mike was different. Your entire point is invalid because you don't understand that there's a joke there that Mike is microphone. That they're misinterpreting Mike as a microphone. That's the joke. They all went for the obvious, oh, he's a microphone because Tenna's a television. Not that, oh, it's just a guy's name. Not just be his name. It's a pretty generic too, all things considered. That's in like 5 games that like are like very well known indie games. It's like at least a Mike in like all of them, right? There's a Mike in every game. And that's probably intentional why his name is Mike, because it's a generic ass name. No offense to Michaels. No offense to any Michaels in the area. I'm sorry, your name is like one of the most common names in the world. So there's an obvious reason, like, hey, it's probably why he chose the name Mike, because it's a generic name. It's like a placeholder name almost, right? So yeah, he would choose that. So friend inside me. Why cowboy, huh? Why him? How does he fit into chapter 5? That's completely a different theme. Here's my idea, right? Alphys knows Asgore in this world, at least to a degree. From what I know, I think he owns the Simpsons, like a DVD thing from Alphys, right? Asgore, entire place, is entirely different to what you think he would have. You think it'd either be like a garden, a lush, beautiful garden, which it is, technically. Or, you know, a nice western desert to suit with his cowboy theme. Him being a sheriff of the town, you know, all that? But no, you wouldn't think it to be Japanese. No, you wouldn't think it'd be Japanese at all. So how does a cowboy fit into this? Y'all know the plot of Toy Story, right? And this is where we gotta talk about Toy Story for a little bit. This is a little bit of a tangent. Sorry that friend's getting a lot, but there's a lot for this guy. You know, I'm definitely gonna be long. This is definitely gonna be longer than the first video. I can tell you that much. But to recap real quick, the main problem in Toy Story, the main like causing action, rise event, all that stuff, the main event, Woody gets replaced by Buzz Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear is a spaceman, space ranger, spaceman, spacesuit, astronaut. Woody, cowboy, sheriff, desert man, living in sheriff world, town, no name. And what could you have in this scenario? Cowboy, western desert, town, no name. Wonderful colors, like wonderful cherry blossom, growing labyrinth, like wheat fields, all this stuff, right? To be replaced by. And here's the thing, what are most secret bosses been? Something that has either been replaced or is obsolete. A Joker's card, constantly removed from the deck because they usually aren't needed. They're usually thrown away, right? A spam email, usually thrown into the trash. Ram, which was probably going to be the secret boss in chapter 3, is an extension cord that is likely not even for American outlets, which is where Deltarune most likely takes place, given some of the dialect used. Typically, something that Susie says is like, I think something from, like Mississippi or something. Like, it's a very specific dialect for something. That has very clear set to that it is in the America of this world, right? So, what would the cowboy, down on his luck, literally nothing to go for, how would he get his, how would he outperform the magical girl transformation? Oh, I know. What do all secret bosses have? A cooler second form. Maybe Jevil, maybe not Jevil, but like you can count Eram, you could probably do something with Ram, or whoever the secret boss was. Or even with that, Gerson. Gerson gets his Tire Studio armor, spammed to Neo. Literally is an entirely new form. Like, all of them, like, ramp up the difficulty. Like, ramp up the stakes a lot. And having some, like, Photoshop Flowey ass fight, which will probably be what the secret boss is at least based off of, right? Or at least we're going to have something like that, because it's a big set piece in Undertale. It's really cool, and I hope he does it. And Chapter 3 has Photoshop elements in it, so you know, ooh, elephant in the room. Figure out what animal this is. But I think, friend inside me, this is the last chance, by the way. This is not going to happen again. If he doesn't appear, no shot. And I will count this for both ways you can interpret this. This character is not only in the sense of it being literal, it is a cowboy based off the story of Toy Story. By the way, not Woody. Or option B. It is in the name alone, friend inside me. There will be a character that will have friend inside him, who will be puppeting them and then will reveal themselves in some way. Hopefully not nude. That would be gross. With that being said, you are going in Angel's Heaven. Because I am hoping with this. I am hoping and like crying with this. Alright? I need you to know I'm not putting all my cards in, but I'm putting a lot of my cards in. That's good. It looks funny on top of the chair like that. Anyway, Sans. Now, we've all seen that one clip. Sans in the one thing, he's like, you feel it now? You're getting closer to it. And it's Miraculous like, why? What am I getting closer to? And it's like, freedom. Like, that's cool. If that happened, I think I would like scream and be like, there's no way he's a secret boss. What? But also, there's not much reason for why Sans would be a secret boss. The only way it would work is if this was Sans from Undertale, which it's not. This is Sans that's very cocky, very self-assured, not the depressed one that we see in Undertale. And I don't think we're going to get that Sans in this game. I think that's an Undertale exclusive. I don't know how Sans is going to get to Deltarune. We might not even see it. The house might just straight up be gone when the Roaring happens. Might just straight up be missing. Maybe Gaster's like, oh, my son and or brothers are in there. I gotta get them out of there. Unrealizing, you know, he's switching probably them into a world they don't belong in. And thus they'll be outcasted for like ever. At least Papyrus will, sadly, my boy. But I'm not gonna roll off him being in a dark world, and that's where the problem comes in. Because maybe the whole you can never go back thing, maybe that is true. Maybe Sans makes some like deal with Friend to get out of this prophecy like situation or something like that, and Friend's got that power. Maybe, I don't know. We don't know what he can do. Maybe he does get teleported to Undertale to get out of Monkey's Paw Curl style. Maybe. I'm putting him higher than Papyrus, but lower than the Knight. Which, I mean, these orders don't really matter. I don't think it's gonna happen. I really don't. There's not a shot for it could happen. I would be shocked if it did. But I wouldn't be lying if I said it would come out of left field. It would make me feel, it would probably dampen the experience a little bit for me. Unless, of course, it's done right. Akidna. Akidna. My favorite test NPC. No. And I have good reason for this. Actually, no. Possible. I have other reasons for this now. So, on Blue Sky, and in the trailer, there's a character called Floridans. They are by Toby Fox, I believe, like directly on Blue Sky. Was like, these are like, think of them as the Rudens for Chapter 5. So at least to some degree, Chapter 5 might be rehashing some stuff. Or at least it new forms of characters that already exist. This already happened. Akidna is a Ruden that is in the files of the test, like, NPC to be fought against. They're in the files. There is a reportedly missing Ruden that was miscolored. That they were colored in with love. But there's a missing card. There are 7 of them, there's only 6. How interesting. How very, very interesting, if you would. And, you know, who's to say that when Asgore got kicked out of the house, maybe he had a little card stuck in his back pocket of his booty cheeks when he was walking to the flower shop to live in. And maybe good old Akidna hitched a ride to Chapter 5. And they're gonna be like a secret boss or something. I don't know. Maybe they're a secret boss or something. Maybe you should like get a shadow crystal or something. Like, I'm not gonna rule them out. Not like I originally was when I put them here. But I also can't say for certain they will happen. I could see there being an enemy called Akidna, like in the game, but I do not believe there will be a character. I don't know if there will be like them as a super boss, and that's the problem I'm kind of stuck in. I don't really know, and so they're impossible. I would scream if it happened. If it doesn't happen, I won't care. Forgotten Man. Oh boy. This is gonna be a controversial pick, and I might be sealing my fate with this one. It's not gonna happen, and I have one good reason for this. Out of all of these secret bosses, all of them, one thing's in common. One thing's in common. While you do need sometimes outside information, right? All of them can be accessed in the chapter they're in with no problems. Jevil, get the keys. Svampton, do his deal. Eram, or whatever it's called, the Shadow Mantle, whatever it's called. Do the sword things. Literally, there's a cheat. There's like, you can spend points to get in there if you mess up. Gerson's literally as straightforward as possible. Just talk to him. All of them have been really easy. And if the final one requires all the eggs, something that likely most players aren't going to get or know how to get, will be a problem. Because besides Chapter 1, besides Chapter 1, all the eggs have been hidden, right? Right? But if I'm playing Chapter 5, and I see that tree, it's like, oh, we cannot fight yet with my big scythe. Unfortunately, you do not have all the eggs. You must go back to the start of the game to get the egg. In a room that may take you an hour if you're unlucky. That's a bit too ballsy even for Toby Fox. That's a way too ballsy for someone like Toby Fox. For anyone, really. Because that would ruin the experience. It's cool in concept, but it's horrible in gameplay. And that's the thing that people need to remember here, is that even though these may be awesome aura-tastic fights, there's still something that you need to like go out of your way to do. So it has to be like something that you can do in that chapter. And if it requires you to get all those eggs, which you're gonna have to look up, by the way, because it doesn't tell you where it is in game. I don't even know what room it's in. You are going to be in such a bad state that 90% of players that aren't like hardcore Toby Fox fans or like Undertale Deltarune fans are not going to do that. They aren't going to do that. Just straight up, they aren't going to do that. It's not going to happen. It's so I don't believe it's going to happen. Just straight up, I don't believe it. They're going to appear. I think they're more of like a trauma thing for Kris rather than like a full-blown like character. I think they're Gaster related as well. But I don't think they're gonna be like a secret boss. I think it's a bit too absurd. More absurd than Papyrus somehow in my book. That's why it's in depth, because I don't even think it's gonna happen. That's how absurd it is. At least to me. If it does, I'm gonna be a bit angry. I won't lie. I'm gonna actually be kind of mad. I'm gonna get those eggs and still do that fight, of course. But I'm not going to enjoy it because I'm going to have to play through all those chapters, which is going to be like 6+ hours. That's another thing. Is that if he appeared, or they appeared, no, it's because Forgotten Man too. If he appeared in, say, chapter 1 as a secret boss, right? Get the egg, he's there. That's fine. Chapter 2, maybe pushing it. You're a little bit pushing it, but you're fine. Chapter 3, pushing it a bit. Chapter 4, you're very pushing it. Chapter 5, by that point in the game, you've probably already sunk in 10+ hours into. To be told you gotta turn all the way back around to do something in the previous chapters which you were not informed even existed until right now. Because at least the secret bosses, you can tell there's something up. Because you will be asked about it. The game makes it pretty clear. The basement has the question marks. Like in the elevator, there's question marks in the base to lead you to the basement. Samson literally just straight up tells you, do my deal. Tenna. S rank room you can buy into. Gerson straight up tells you. Straight up just tells you. That's all pretty obvious to me. Eggman is not. And that's why I don't think it's them. And that's all I'd say on the matter. Next up in line is Flowey. Now, Flowey for me is down here. And I have another good reason for this. Same reason I mentioned before. I don't think Toby Fox is going to retread similar ground without giving something new to it. But Flowey, you kind of already did all of that. You had the second form, you have the secret story lore, why they became evil, you have all of that. Literally all of that. And why would Asgore... Now riddle me this as well, Deltarune theorist. Why would Asgore like make a dark fountain and be thinking, man, I really wish there was a fucking evil flower that wanted to kill me here? Like, why would he do that? What does he gain from doing that other than, yeah, no, it's an evil flower because I thought it'd be awesome? Like, why? In what way does that make sense? Even for like Asgore, even like any of the chapters where it's like very will driven, they're very like driven by the people around them. Like Deltarune Chapter 3, very freedom based. That chapter goes basically anyone. Ram's probably the most. Fits the criteria the most. Which there is, by the way, there definitely is a criteria for this. So we're clear, if I haven't made it very clear, there's a criteria for like a secret boss in my head. But like Flowey literally is more likely to be an advisor to Asgore and lead him to kill you? To like stop you from stealing the fountain? Than they are to like be a secret boss themselves. It doesn't make sense to me. I'll say the same thing for the rest of the flowers in that area, but we'll get there when we get there. Speaking of Asgore, by the way, Asgore. Actually, here. No, here. this... Now, as far as I'm aware, Asgore does the Shadow Crystal. There's a bathroom scene where, like, he's talking to, and he's like, in this crystal in my hand, or something like that. I don't remember where it is. It's either in the that room or in, like, the bedroom where, like, the corkboard is. Ooh la la. But, I don't think he's gonna be a secret boss. It's probably gonna be he puts, like, it on his, like, desk, like on the TV, and that makes the secret boss. It gets lost in the dark world because those translate between it. They're just shards of glass in real life. But in the dark world, they're dark. They're dark crystals, shadow crystals. I think he's gonna be the main boss, and I don't think that's gonna qualify him to be secret boss by proxy. Because Tenno was a main boss, he was not a secret boss. The knight technically classifies as a secret boss. Because you couldn't even know you could fight them. Literally, if you don't have the mantle, it like kicks you out of it unless you're like really determined. Once the game will like be like, okay, fine, take your hand at it. But with that being said, I don't think Asgore. I think Asgore is possible, but I wouldn't lie if I said I would be a little let down. I'd be a little let down. It's not a new character. It's just a guy we already know. However, Lightner Shadow Crystal boss, that would be a new one. That would be a new character, a new type of character for this game. Pizza Pants. Here for shits and giggles. Next, us. Me? The player. Depths. That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense, like, at all. Literally doesn't make, like, any sense why they're here. Frankly, I shouldn't even put them down. Anything with Pizza Pants. I just couldn't think of a character. You know, maybe... I mean, he would definitely fall for a Shadow Crystal, but I think Mike would try to give it to him, and he'd be like, "You're kind of weird, bro. I don't like you very much." And he would take it away, and he'd be like, "I was gonna get a secret boss Shadow Crystal, and I didn't get it, and I'm mad." That's what I think would happen. If you asked me, of course. And I'm the smartest one here. I'm the smartest ever, actually. I'm the smartest person ever. Okay, Kris. Now, there's one piece of evidence for this. There is a Kris solo fight with someone that is invisible. Someone that's on the other side. However, that could be a centered character, or that could be because there isn't anyone we're fighting. They wouldn't be a secret boss. But I do think in the weird route, that would classify. I think there would be a secret boss that you would fight in the weird route. You did all this harm, they rip out the soul, they're fighting you in a place that they know they can hurt you. The dark world. A place where you are not immune to pain, unlike in the real world where you are. Because in the dark world, fiction is reality. So really, you can will pain on them. And I think definitely that would be like a karma mechanic would return. Hell, maybe Megalovania would do that. But I think Kris is a possible Shadow Crystal. Or like, I could see them as that. However, I don't think Secret Boss, but I think Secret Boss in Chapter, but without the Shadow Crystal. That's my bet. Ralsei. Unlikely to happen. And I got reason for this as well. I think Ralsei could very well, like, be a secret character. Like a fight we have in either the weird route or even the main route. But I don't think Shadow Crystal boss. And frankly, I don't think we'd even fight Ralsei to begin with. Like, if they get a Shadow Crystal and they, like, learn... No, it wouldn't even change anything because they'd look at it and they wouldn't be affected. They already know the prophecies. They already know the truth. And if we assume that it's telling all the souls the prophecy, or like people in the prophecy, like sounds bad, like, oh yeah, you're gonna lose everything, town's gonna die. You're like, oh yeah, the world's not even real, bro. Like, I don't think it's gonna be Ralsei at all, really. Unless it has some like a lot of work put into it, I don't think it's gonna make a lot of sense. Unless Ralsei becomes like really desperate. But I think we're past the point where Ralsei is shady, is like seen as weird, when it's very clear now that Ralsei was doing because Ralsei was scared shitless of what's going to happen when everything started becoming very in line with the prophecy. Which maybe that would be enough to make Ralsei desperate, make them desperate. I don't know. I think they're too pure of heart. Alphys. Once again, rehash. I don't think it's gonna happen. Very unlikely. And there's a big reason for this. Why would they be a secret boss at all? As far as I'm aware, there's nothing that is making Ralsei like, not Ralsei, nothing that is making Alphys like where she was in Undertale. And that's a big thing with a lot of these series. They always assume it's going to be the same in Undertale. It's not. They're not going to turn into their Undertale selves if they're depressed because they're underground. That's why Alphys is even so bummed. Like, her life sucks. She killed a bunch of people by accident, and is guilted with that. She has some huge shoes to fill. Of someone by the name of WD. Like, I don't think it's gonna happen. Just straight up. I think it's unlikely. I don't think she's gonna even enter a dark world, besides like maybe the Roaring, where we see a dark world form of her. I just don't think it's happening. Like, unironically, other, like, Mad Mew Mew is more likely than... more likely than, like, Alphys is. And that's, like... I don't even know where they would be on this. That'll be when I get the question. But either way, Alphys is not happening. Caddy, in the depths. I don't see it happening. Literally, their whole character is about like avoiding this stuff. I don't see them. I don't see them doing that unless they're friend. Unless this character is this character in disguise. Like, I mean, like this character is friend in disguise. Then like, no, not a shot. That would be all. Des. Same thing as the night. And this goes for really all the holidays. I don't see a way that would work without it kind of ruining a character. Because obviously we don't know for certain if it's Des. It likely is, but we don't know for certain. I think Des could be introduced in Chapter 5. But I don't think Des would be, like, this very important character. Not important character, but like, it's very, like, I'm the secret boss. I'm the secret boss chapter. Because the only way I see them even appearing is that the knight's helmet gets knocked off and you see Des. It's some scary corpse thing. That's the only way that can happen for me. Susie. There literally is a white pen of hope in the chapter, like one of the images we have of Chapter 5. There is a non-zero chance, a very high chance, Susie takes the pen of hope metaphor literal. And she gets a shadow crystal. Like this thing that can change the fate. Y'all keep giving it to that one, to Shaw, that cat. But instead, what if you used it to see the future so you can prevent it? And I think Susie would be desperate enough to do that, to fall for that. Because it's clear she's more desperate than I think Ralsei is. She's holding on strong, but she's very clearly like, if anything, the whole we won't let that happen thing, I think that's pretty clear. Like something's up. She ain't doing too good. And because of that, she's a very high shot. Very high shot. Am I going to say It's like 100% no. Do I believe? Yes. Do I hope? Yes. Do I think it would be awesome if it did? Absolutely. Noel. Good old Noel. No. And this is pretty self-explanatory. Also, in the chat, people have been hunching, theorizing. Got a hunch, got a theory. Heard a theory, heard a rumor. That chapter 5, in some of the images, the grid doesn't line up. And Ralsei, oddly enough, is overlaid and not pixel consistent with the rest of the cast. Like in the health bar system. Almost as if they've been edited in. Almost as if there's another party member. And we got a screenshot which has Noel following Susie and Kris. Which can only mean one thing. High chance that they are in a dark world. Maybe to get flowers for Susie. Maybe to check on Asgore. Being the nice kid they are. But Secret Boss, no. And why? A weird route. They are critical to the weird route. And I don't think they're going to want to fight the soul. What would they gain from a shadow crystal? Nothing, really. They would gain nothing. In what way does the kid who has godlike powers now gonna benefit from getting godlike powers? They don't. That's your answer. They just don't. And so, really, there's nothing I can offer there besides that. They don't really gain anything from it. So there's no point to have a shadow crystal. Jockington. Good old Jockington beard grower. Unlikely. And this is gonna be pretty short. Jockington's kind of forgettable. Not in a bad way, but in a mystery man way. I think Jockington's gonna become a goner. We're gonna talk to Jockington, and he's gonna start doing the WD thing. He's gonna do the wait, don't thing. He's gonna wait, don't go. And it's gonna be wait, don't go. Someone else is here, something like that. And he's gonna appear soon. And he's gonna turn gray, and he's gonna vanish. And it's going to be when you're alone with Kris. 100%. And that's going to be the biggest clear sign that something's wrong. Something is very wrong. Not in Chapter 5. Maybe Chapter 5. Maybe even more in Chapter 6. But that's about it. For Jock. The Vessel. Also in Angel's Heaven. This would be awesome. The discarded creation using the Shadow Crystal as a makeshift soul until they can steal yours. That's kind of cool. It is a little rehashy of spam, I will admit. However, here's an idea for you. Vessel. Okay, I'll explain it better. In The Amazing World of Gumball, and this is going to be a weird thing to bring up, there's an episode called The Fridge, I believe. In that episode, Richard Watterson, the pink guy, the pink rabbit, fat one, he set this fridge his entire life. All his memories are in that fridge, basically. It's a fridge full of memories, literally. He gets sucked in. And in that, he is surrounded by all the memories of his life. But specifically of his family. About how much he loves his family and loves his kids. And I think that could be Asgore. I think Asgore could be surrounded by weird, fake versions of his family. Holding on to when he was a happy family. In this fictional world that is meant to appease to you. And when Kris and Co. show up, this vessel is going to feel threatened by Kris. Because they're going to spill the secret, hey, that's not me. So, This is also where the whole soul fight thing could very well happen as well. We're like Kris one-on-one. First Kris one-on-one fight, I think. Not like first one, but like one in the game or the chapter. And it's against the vessel. Occupying that space that Kris had. And with memories, they get fuzzy. So I could see that being like, oh, this is how Kris looked when they were younger. When the Goner Maker was made, when they first got the soul, this is what they might have looked like. Obviously not like that, if you make them bald. But like, I think the vessel will be a weird memory. A fucked up memory, backroom style or something. And that will be like a Shadow Crystal. I don't got much reason outside of that. I just think it would be cool. Anywho, Gaster. No. Gaster's gonna definitely be like the main antagonist, not a crystal. No crystal for you, besides probably you being where the crystal comes from, besides either Des. You or Des are gonna be making those crystals. It's either one of you. Like Walter White and Jesse Pinkman. It's WD and Des. Breaking Runes. That is my AU. Please support me. Please put me on Patreon. Anyway. I got a deal. I gotta bring this up. And it's a slight chance. It's gotta go impossible. Gotta have a neutral stance on this. What if there just isn't one? Like, straight up, there just isn't a secret boss. And we just get a Shadow Crystal for free. Character says, I don't need this anymore. Hands it to us. And it's like, holy shit, man. You just did that. Now, the only issue with this is, one, we know there's a fight. And two, it's told from Sham, who, like, has been telling us there's going to be a fight. You want to fight? Like, that's going to happen. But I also got to admit, I wouldn't be shocked if there straight up isn't one. Like, maybe Asgore has in his back pocket. It's not a secret boss, he just has a crystal. Or, like, it's, like, in a test tube, or, like, it's at the end of the Dark World and you get it. For helping everyone and being a nice person. Or yeah, for killing everyone and slaying some monsters. I just think, you know, it's possible, and everyone's gonna kind of agree. It's a non-zero chance there won't be one. But man, I hope for literally everyone here, there is one, including me. Including me, not everyone here, that there is a secret boss. Because that would be kind of a bummer. But if it happens, it happens. Now to the question mark. Who could this be? Everyone I didn't list. They're all going impossible. Gonna speed round, end of the video, speed round. The mayor, what's her name? Carol Holiday. I don't see it. I don't know why she would have a Shadow Crystal. She seemingly knows about Dark World to some degree, but I don't think she knows about him in that way, at least to that degree. Rudy Holiday, literally in hospital, probably gonna die at the end of Chapter 5. I'm calling it. He's gonna die. That's gonna be why Chapter 5 was segmented, because it was gonna have the roaring start. Any of the school kids I missed. Why would they be it? Why would they be Super Boss? Literally, they're all forgettable. Some random Darkener. Very likely, very high chance it's literally no one listening. It's just some random fucking guy named, like, John Filament. Or something like that. The flowers in the vases, or like in the test tubes. Maybe, once again, that's kind of Omega Flowey again. And even though I want Omega Flowey back, I don't know if those would be the boss that way. Though it would be cool, I gotta admit. Fucking icy guy, the snow cone guy. No, why would it be him? Any of the ghosts? No, why would it be them? Onion San, they're dead. Bro, they're dead. They died. Undyne, you're dead. Bro, you're dead. Why would it be them? I don't even know. The Rock from Undertale? I don't even know why he's here. The cash register? It would be really funny. And that's it. All I got for them is the cash register. It would be really funny. Any other major characters? Toriel. Why? Alvin. Why? The bird guy. Why? Bird Lee. Why? Stampton, again. What? Why are you here? Why are you greedy? Greedy, greedy, greedy. Sin of greed. That's kind of it. I don't know anyone else. If there's anyone I didn't mention, they're impossible. But most likely, if they were on this list physically, they would be in the depths. Because like 90% of this cast ain't happening, buddy. So once again, recap. This is the list. Angels Heaven's the top. Likely character depths lowest. I'm hoping for a friend inside me. I'm really hoping. I'm praying here. I want it to happen, but like if it doesn't, big whoop, man. I don't care. Jevil's also pretty cool. And Jevil would be also really cool as secret boss, like return. And frankly, I don't really know what else I would put. I don't even know. This video is over. This is an hour long. I'm probably not gonna trim it here. I'm just gonna put like some gameplay footage behind us, and you're gonna be able to watch it. Like, wow, this is so relevant to what I'm listening to. But yeah, show's over. Go home. Subscribe, like, comment below. Tell me what you think. Do you agree with our picks? Yeah. Bye.